Hey, Dolly,
Hi, Kate.
have you ever seen, one of those like gels that you eat when you're on your bike? Like you rip the top off and you put it in your mouth.
Like mid.
Yeah, mid-ride. Yeah.
No, that's beyond.
Oh,
me.
they look a bit like this.
Oh,
I've got some, but these aren't gels.
so don't rip the top off and eat this.
It's butt cream.
Oh.
No, it's chamois butter, but there's a coconut flavour. So we could probably check the values, the nutrition values.
Wow. Well, there's plenty of these on offer right here at the Brisbane Cycling Festival, the Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast, coming to you from our very own pop-up activation site. And I'm so just absolutely tickled pink to be sitting right here next to Madam Ambassador, who I believe slept here last night.
I did, yes.
And the night before.
Yes, getting ready. Do you need, before we hit go, do you need any chamois cream for the show?
You know what?
We've hit go.
Oh,
Why
that's
the heck
awkward.
not?
But there's even a her one. It's pink.
So
All
hang
right.
on, this is actual rib fillet cream that you put down your nicks,
It
and
is.
there's a his and her coconut
It
flavoured
is.
variety.
That's correct. I think the point being, we're here at the Brisbane Cycling Festival. We've got this fantastic little expo set up. It is so exciting, and we've got a few little giveaways and
Yes.
some fun stuff, and including the chamois butter.
Should we talk about the bike?
Oh,
What bike?
that bike.
Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting the bike's here because no one's allowed to touch it, Merksy. Stay where you are.
Well,
Don't come near
that's
it.
technically not true. We have Pogacar's beautiful Colnago. It's the V series. It's the
Wow.
V4 RS. And what we're actually doing is running a competition. We've got even the little QR code thingamabobbers and everything. If you can guess the weight of the bike. Now, to guess the weight of the bike, you do have to pick it up.
Okay.
So
Gloves?
we've got our man Elliot from Bike Bug who's running security.
Yes.
So if anybody tries to run off with it,
Yep.
he's got his pumps on and he's ready to go.
Is he armed?
I don't know. We'll
Okay.
have to confirm. But it's beautiful. Merksy might be the one running off with it.
I'm desperate
Well,
to have a guess here.
It's got no pedals though. I did try and run off. It's got no pedals.
No. He threatened to do a wheelie in the opening seg, but with no pedals, that's very difficult.
A pedal-free wheelie. If
It
anyone
is.
can pull that off, it's our Merksy. Okay, so are we going to start the guessing right now?
Oh, we can leave that to the back end of the show, I reckon,
Okay.
because we've got a lot to cover.
We do have a lot to
We
cover.
do.
Now, okay, so we are here at the Brisbane Cycling Festival. This has been a long time coming. It's great to be part of it. Shout out to Bike Bug, of course, for this beautiful, beautiful specimen here. But that's not it. I'm noticing some more toys
Yes,
on our
we've-
beautiful set.
Well, if you guess the weight of the bike, you get those beautiful sunglasses,
No.
which are the ones that Today wears. And also these beautiful shoes, DMT, beautiful white-soled, white fabric, would we say fabric shoes? How good am I on the tech specs here? But these beautiful DMTs, I tell you what, we're going to pop these up on socials. They look more like football boots
They
than
truly
cycling
do.
shoes, but
They're
they're
a bit
very, very
rainbow.
nice.
I like it.
They are a bit rainbow and they're very light, which is impressive because I tell you, my old road shoes that are, a good decade old now, they are heavy.
Yeah, okay.
And also one of the beautiful Met helmets that he wears. So we've kind of like pulled together, and at the end of the weekend, we've also got a UAE kit. We're going to pop Merksy in all of it and see if you can ride like the wind.
I feel like I'm at like Santa
Bullseye.
Claus's cycling workshop. This is ridiculous. Toys
It is
everywhere.
very cool.
So carbon fibre. You know what? That's where we are. We're at the Kennedy Space Centre, surrounded by carbon.
It is. So we're in the expo hall here at the Brisbane Cycling Festival, and there is everything around us. If you like tech, it's so cool, bike tech. But there's also one of my favourite exhibitors is the ponytail cap
Do love the
for
ponytail
the ladies.
cap.
So
yes.
pop your ponytail through the cap. So there you go.
These are the sort of
High-tech.
innovations that are boosting inclusion in cycling, that are making
It is.
participation a little bit more easy. Just little things like this make all the difference. Now, on that, you have been, as I say, living, breathing, eating, sleeping, all things Brisbane Cycling Festival. Part of that was, of course, the Asia Pacific Cycling Conference. Now, there were some incredible demonstrators there across the days. Now, we could
There were,
we
yep.
could record 10 episodes going through it all.
No,
But
it was really interesting. I mean, one of the bingo words was data. Everybody was talking about all this data they'd collected, and it was like, okay, that's great, but now what do we do with it? There was a lot of talk about infrastructure, and one of the really big takeaways, certainly from government level, and some of the international guests that have come from China, from the UK, talked about separated bike infrastructure. So not just a bike path on the side of a road, but having a physical separation, like something like the Veloway or even big bollards, that increased female participation in cycling tremendously. So that emerged as one of the really big barriers, especially for women. So it was really quite interesting. But I hosted a panel with Jordana Blackman from Chicks Who Ride Bikes, Llama, and Bronwyn Victor from Sisters of the Saddle. And in doing so, writing my opening, I did a little bit of a deep dive into kind of the history from a competitive side. And how's this for numbers? In the Olympics, men have had 190 gold medals on offer, starting in 1896.
Okay.
The women have had less than a third of that, 60 gold medals.
Oh, my goodness. All
and
right.
the first was in 1984, Connie Carpenter in the road race.
Okay, that explains a lot.
It does.
It really does.
It was actually quite interesting. So a lot of the focus was on connectivity and how do we connect communities and health and outcomes. And at the end of the day, everybody from government to health insurers to families want happy, healthy people. And how do we achieve that? Obviously, the long-term things are the big infrastructure projects, but there's a lot of kind of low-hanging fruit, if you will, along the way. And, you know, even the rise of virtual cycling and esports and how accessible that's been for a lot of women who can then jump on the bike at night for half an hour but wouldn't be able to get out on the road. So, awesome. Really cool. I believe they're going to do it again next year. So well done to the team for delivering that. But, yeah, really a lot of great minds.
Hey, look, you can't be what you can't see.
Can't be what you can't see.
Turning that around is fantastic. So what are we looking forward to the most? So I know that we are all geared up, the Wheelhouse team, Merksy leading the charge, hopefully on this bike for the family ride on Sunday. He's going to double me on the handlebars. We've worked it out. So don't worry, Elliot, it's fine.
I shaved the
It's going to
pin
be okay.
this morning.
Oh, excellent. Oh, beautiful.
I saw that. I wish you would have washed out the sink. Anyway.
Do you need some chamois butter to moisturise them?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Here you go.
Right.
No,
there's
coconut
eucalyptus.
flavour just for
Yeah,
you.
coconut. Perfect.
All right.
I'm really looking forward to the family ride, I got to say.
Yeah.
It's like a yearly tradition now. So it's meant to be good weather as well.
But also the end of an era. Obviously, we're pretty excited about Pro Velo, but the NRS, Catherine, the NRS, the end of an era.
It is. Well, it'll be the last NRS here at the Cycling Festival because next year it'll be Pro Velo Super League. It's interesting. So we chatted to Hank a couple of weeks ago, to Matt Wilson, one of the founders, last week, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, laced with a little bit of, oh, but what? You know, so it's amazing. The NRS was dead. It needed a revival. This is fantastic. But what do the riders do in the middle of the year? What about this? What about that? And essentially, that's just another thing that needs to be fixed.
Okay.
But keeping the NRS wasn't the result. But there is an NRS race this weekend as well. They're going up Mount Cootha, Joel. We are not on the family ride.
No.
Unless Merksy wants to try and beat his Strava record up there. What do you reckon, Merksy?
9 minutes. 9 minutes 18.
Yeah, I reckon if this bike can't help you do that,
Yeah.
it's maybe not possible.
I really want to know. I want this to happen now. I'd love to know.
Got to drop some weight before I go again.
Okay.
Oh, come on now. I think it's interesting. A lot of people have been coming and picking the bike up and listening to... I'm just going to say hi to Couchy, Belinda from the Couch Peloton. Come on in, Belinda.
Come on in, Belinda.
I have
Welcome
communicated over the years with Belinda as part of the Couch Peloton. Belinda, come on in. What are you participating in the cycling festival over the weekend?
I'm doing the 50K. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's
the
fantastic.
50?
Yeah, well, yes, it's
You're a machine.
well, we'll see by the end of it, but I'm excited.
Have you got a whole Couch Peloton to do it with you?
I have my friend Marissa, who's
excellent
a star. She is keen as mustard, so we're cheering each other on.
That's a double couch.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
Not a single sofa, a double couch.
Yeah.
Okay. With a chase.
It is. Nice to see you, Belinda.
Nice
Good luck on
Thank
Sunday.
You. I'll see you around.
Yes.
We'll
How
talk
good
to you
is
on the
that?
other side. Yeah. I expect a full report, kilometre by kilometre.
Yes, every kilometre.
Okay.
Well,
I love it.
She is one of the the most prominent couch peloton members on the interwebs. I've never met her in person like that, so that's fantastic.
Hashtag Couch Peloton here at the Brisbane
Couch
Cycling
Peloton,
Festival.
yes.
Now, so much happening here. We'll keep traversing this. A big shout out to our friends at QUT Sport over there as well. Hey, QUT! Woo! Woo!
Yeah, they're not even.
They didn't hear me.
Giving us funny looks.
Or did they ignore me?
Oh, dear.
No, I'm going to stew on that. Let's talk about the world of cycling this week, Kate. It's been massive. Now, there is a saying in sport that anyone can back a favourite, and in that case, I'm going to lay claim to being that anyone because Matthew, as we know, unstoppable.
Yes,
on
the
the
Vanderpool.
cobs.
Well, according to his dad, it's just maths, and people have won the double before, so
Yeah,
let's
whatever,
not get
yeah.
too excited.
You're doing
what
okay,
Ardrey
but
had to say.
Here's
No.
my expectation. Here's where
was-
you are.
He attacked with 60k to go. In Flanders, it was 45k, but as explained by his father, more than him, which is quite funny, he said, he did the maths. It takes about as much time to do 60k at Roubaix as it does to do 40k in Flanders, so he had it covered.
Okay, should we put the shout out? Why don't Matthew and his father have a race?
Oh, that would be
Then
interesting.
we'll see
Well,
who's,
look, Ardrey has not won Roubaix, but he has won Flanders, so
I'd love to see that.
it was an
Is
interesting
it
one.
getting boring? Winning everything? What's going on?
Oh,
I don't reckon.
I
I
love it when
know,
this
I
comes up. I
know.
love it, Merksy, because I love a dominant champion, but you
I
love
know.
the
I like
grit.
domination too, but Mads Pedersen said that I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
That he just thought he was playing with them. He was just that
toying
next
with his-
level.
Not like
Yeah.
not like Remco in the UCI,
Yeah,
but
Just next level.
look
The
at
streets ahead,
And
okay.
his hands looked like an accountant's hands. Everyone else had blisters, blood. It's incredible.
Oh.
Are we saying he might be AI?
He possibly
like
he's
an
an alien.
accountant's hands. What does that mean? Like calluses only on the tips from typing?
Yeah, well, not like
Or-
these tough badass
No,
hands.
no,
Yeah.
not like a working man's
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Well, I remember at Flanders when he won, he held his bike up, right? So you have to think that the machine's part of it.
Well, it's because they've paid him a lot of money.
Well,
for the
this
next
is true,
10 years,
but it's got to be part of it because according to Florian Seneschal,
Mm-hmm.
his bike felt like cardboard and he swapped bikes 4 times while he was out there.
Okay.
I
all
can't
right.
wait
Yes.
till
Is-
Tarde's there in a few years on the
I
Colorado.
know, on the Conago. Well, they've gone to war over it because he called out the bike brand and said, these bikes suck essentially. And the bike brand came back and said, no, they do not. It's the mechanics of the team.
That brand's just in there behind us.
So,
Okay,
well,
keep our voices down there.
g'day, that's Giuseppe from Grange. He's got a
Hey.
bike shop over there.
Why don't we ask the man himself? So just revealing
So-
the wider set here, a very special guest joining us on the Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast
Oh,
for the
yes.
first time. My mic's not going to reach it,
No.
but
I
I'm just
can't
going to
wait
say
to
a
see
very
what
good
happens here.
afternoon to
Look at him.
Tade himself,
Look at
who
him.
joins us here on set in the Brisbane Cycling Festival. Tade, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Is he chatty, Joel?
Yeah, he's got plenty to say. That chat coming your way
Just not to us.
when we can work out how to AI mimic his voice and put it into that.
I do want those shades. I love
They are
those
very
shades.
cool. You'll have to guess the weight. And I don't know it, by the way. I don't know the weight of the bike, so I can't help you there. But it's, aside from the very obvious unpacking of what happened in the race, I mean, that can be done in 2 minutes. Matthew attacked, Matthew won. Actually, I don't need 2 minutes. I need 2 seconds. But the most beautiful part of it for me was watching a young Aussie fulfill a dream,
Yep.
Cyrus Monk.
I'm so glad you brought this up.
He was just goosebump
Yeah.
inducing. And he described it really interestingly as the Hunger Games.
Yeah. I did. Hey, look, not far off, to be
Yeah,
fair.
he said,
he
I
came
think,
dead last though.
he did, but he said, I think Roubaix is the Hunger Games. Every sector is like the cannon going off and someone gets killed. But that means he won because he
Yep,
made
sure.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
touching though, what he had to say
Yeah, it
about
was a
why he
lovely
kept going.
quote.
It was.
Late
Father,
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, what he actually said, I'm going to read this because this is
No,
truly
please.
goosebumping. He said, it was pretty emotional for me coming into the velodrome. It's a race I've always wanted to do, and I was thinking about a lot of fans of mine back home who would have been really proud to see me. I was also thinking about my dad, who was the biggest fan of this race. It's one he always watched with me, and he unfortunately passed away while he was riding his bike a few years ago from a heart attack completely out of the blue. So while it was amazing for me to finish the race, at the moment I was also really devastated that he wasn't able to witness it. Oh, I have goosebumps.
Some of the greatest sporting moments don't necessarily end with gold medals or that literal form of glory, but the heart, the passion, the belief behind that.
Just sensational. And that is what it means, because you can talk about, how dominant the victory was, but that to me is not where most of the stories are. I mean, I had a laugh at the cardboard bike. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
bike
so
swaps.
Stop the press. What's the go with the cardboard bike, Catherine?
Well, it was a Bianchi. He's riding for Arkea. Well, look, that's, you can Google that.
What if it rhymes with Bianchi?
No. But he said that it felt like the carbon was cracking underneath him and his handlebars were about to fall off. He said he felt unsafe. By the fourth time he'd changed bike, he'd had a gutful. So
it's no Colnago.
It's no Colnago. People are pointing fingers, and I think it's, a PR disaster. Like, come on, guys.
Not ideal. It's no.
But of course, he's at the end of an emotional race.
Poor old mechanic.
He's gonna mouth off. I know the mechanic gets blamed. They're the fall guy.
Yeah.
Or the bus driver.
It's like the technical guy on a podcast.
Yes.
It's always my fault.
It's all right, Merksy. You can blame me. I'm happy. I'm happy for that.
I didn't think you had access to that group chat. Now, just give me 1 second here.
Where's Joel going? I know when Joel gets up and walks off set that we're having a bit. I don't really know what's going on. You've got a cap. What have you got a cap for, Joel?
I want to experiment with something here. I've got a Brisbane Cycling Festival cap. Merksy, I just wanted to tell you how much I absolutely admire, treasure, and respect you and love you so much.
Again.
All right, so he doesn't get the bike, the cap, the shoes, or the sunnies, but he gets
a hat
the
thrown
festival
at him.
hat.
I think this one's from last year.
From last year.
So Matthew had a hat thrown at him by a fan in
Look what
Roubaix.
he did there, baby.
Because
that was clean.
Yeah, thanks for catching up, team.
Wow.
Because the fan, who is now facing, I believe, a degree of prosecution for this, said, I love him so much. What was I going to do? I didn't have a throwing axe or a sword or a pistol, so I threw my hat at him.
I'm sorry. If she had a pistol or an axe or whatever, you think...
Love you, Matthew.
Like, is that a way to show appreciation?
Well, at rock concerts, don't they throw their knickers on the stage?
Well, I have legitimately been at a function with Johnny Farnham playing where there were knickers. I didn't throw mine.
Oh, my goodness.
Jude.
I wasn't wearing it. No, Jude. Oh, my mother. Oh, I'm so
Mercy.
sorry, Jude.
Too strong
way to throw your mother-in-law under the bus.
Oh.
And you know she'll listen too. You're going to get a tut-tut for that one.
Dear.
How good is Lotte Kopecky?
How good?
How good is Lotte Kopecky?
Yes.
Let's move on.
Moving on. Look, she is incredible. Aside from the fact that she won in wonderful style, I'm not exactly sure how she managed to get the entire distance in completely white lycra and finish without a single mark on it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're talking about like the really important stuff here. We're really unpacking and analysing.
No trickery or anything afoot, like legitimate. Started and finished in the same. Okay, and nothing at all.
She was expected to win. She didn't win in the dominant fashion that Van der Poel did. Alyssa Balsamo nearly got her, in fact, in the velodrome, and Fife for Georgie, incredible.
Voss was there too.
Yeah, it was an incredible finishing bunch. But while they were racing, I was watching, thinking her cadence is higher than anybody else's. So how quickly she was pedaling per minute. Mm-hmm. And so I put the timer on and I started counting. And there were significant periods where her cadence was between 110 and 120. Most of the riders sit around 80 or 90 RPMs. So to me, that always says, like, when you're tired, you put it in a bigger gear. What are you laughing at,
that
Merksy?
says the Di2's gone flat on your coffee ride.
Yeah, well, yes. But it's to me a show of comfort.
Yeah.
Because when you're tired, you just put it in the big dog and you do that. But she just looked so comfy the whole time. She really did. And that is definitely her track background. You know, she's Olympic Madison champion, world Madison champion. This is where she really shines.
Yep. But also that game day, that adrenaline, those nerves, that energy that you get out of being like, all right, here we are. Yeah. What about, let's talk about Sarah Roy.
Oh, poor Roy. We love Sarah Roy here at the Wheelhouse.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to shit can mechanics again, aren't we?
No, we're not. This time we're going to shit can neutral service because she got a flat. It's not unusual, but she got stuck standing on a segment, holding. She took the wheel out, wheel above her head, standing and waiting.
Here's the photo.
And
look at
waiting.
it. You can see him in the shot.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
the
yeah.
hand up.
Look at it.
Wow.
Waiting and waiting, race over by the time she eventually got a wheel. And that's what, you can't have the cars right behind the riders in every segment, in every sector. And sometimes you actually see them let neutral go by when they're deciding to wait for their team car. But that's what neutral service does.
Yeah.
Make sure that the riders, it's more accessible for them to be able to get a wheel when they need it. And they bloody let her down.
They did, but is it also one of those, on the day, anything can happen, things go wrong, you have your days, you have your, days where everything's perfect, you have your days where things are a little bit behind the 8 ball. As far as bad results like that happening and then causing a big,
Sure.
it's their fault,
Look,
it's their fault.
This
and then,
is a yes and no because, I get that. But we just heard the incredibly touching words from Cyrus Monk
Yeah.
about what it meant to him to finish.
Yep.
The journey that he has come on and I've got goosebumps again, what an incredible feat it was for him. Imagine if that got taken away because neutral service were having a bad day. Like, you got to be on your A game.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
I hear your point, but
Not just the rider, but
no,
everyone
everybody.
around the rider as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're so reliant on people.
Look,
In
fair
those
say, fair
moments,
point.
they're toddlers.
Yep.
And they need carers to get them safely
Hang on, are you
through.
talking about the athletes or us?
No, well,
Hey, was Sarah wearing a nappy?
oh,
I'm so confused.
you are on real
That's a
form today,
strange-
Merksy.
It's a strange
Oh
parallel.
my!
Now, look,
oh,
I will defer to the actual cyclist in the room for this one. Fair enough, fair observation. You've been in those situations. I just have a thing about game day incidents where it's like that was a real shame, but it's one of those things. Do we cause a big fight about it and blame each other and then cause ruptures or whatever? But nope, you've explained.
we
it
don't
very
have
well.
to be. We don't have to do a Seneschal.
Okay.
He went nuclear. Roy has just expressed her disappointment.
Yep. And look, I think there was a rugby league moment earlier this week where one of the great coaches said you only get one good blow up a year.
Ooh,
one
a
good
year.
spray a year.
A year.
Yep. One as a
That's
coach
a lot.
or a manager
Oh, right.
or a mechanic or the athlete working with the team, you get to tear strips off them once a year. If you
Oh.
start doing it more than that, you become a dickhead. No one wants to work with you.
Yes.
Speaking from experience.
I don't-
Okay.
Is he talking to me?
Lotte's year. Okay, it's only April, but let's just do a quick hat throw into the future.
A lot to look forward to.
There is a lot to look
Yeah,
forward to.
they've announced that she'll be riding the women's Giro, which is fantastic. Great preparation for the Olympics. It is still in question if she'll do the Tour de France Femme.
Yep.
And if we remember, she won the first stage last year and took the yellow jersey. But it's very hard scheduling. Her track program at the Olympics finishes at about 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And the women's Tour de France Femme, starts Monday morning.
Okay.
So that still has a question mark, but she will be debuting at Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
Liège-Bastogne-Liège.
LBL.
One of the you know what I'd love? We should do this one day. The best things to say in cycling, the best locations, names,
Oh.
because Liège-Bastogne-Liège is right up there. Now that I know how to say
Now-
it, it's
well,
taken a while, but yeah.
And so depending on how she pulls up from that and how she goes, they're going
Yep.
to make a decision then about her program for the rest of the year. But it's exciting,
Okay.
especially for the women's Giro, to have the rainbow jersey there. It's great.
It's awesome. It's fantastic.
I
Now,
I realised in that pause where I had a big smile on my face, it's a podcast. Keep talking, Kate.
just talk on. But you know what? The numbers that you ran before, I was really interested in that. Those Olympic gold medal numbers. This is the sort of thing that projecting into the future at the elite level starts to balance that as well.
Yeah, 190 to 60. Just
Well, we're
saying.
talking at the community level here at the Brisbane Cycling Festival. We'll get into a bit more of that. But this sort of performance and that keeping on, turning up and dominating these events. I know Merksy doesn't like dominance, but I do.
All right.
All right, Wheelhouse Podcast. Now,
Oh my gosh.
you need to resist the urge to make the joke you're about to make.
Roger.
We're here at the Brisbane Cycling Festival.
Who's Roger?
I want to talk about Wout van.
So
I wanna-
sniffs a lot?
What? I just want to have a quick chat about Wout van.
What are you doing?
Is that
Are you sniffing?
you?
No.
Wow.
I think it might be.
Just
You're
give
a
me,
bit,
just
you're
give
a
me
bit
one
woofy,
sec. Just
Joel.
one sec.
Bit woofy. What? Are you taking a shower, Joel? I think Joel's having a shower, which I can tell you
Give him the mic in the shower.
is pretty good thing. Joel, you're back. Did you just take a shower?
Yeah, it's been 12 days. Just 12 big long days.
Hold
and I
on,
realised
hold
I was,
on. I've missed some of your segues this week,
Pass him a towel.
but I think I'm on this one.
You got me?
This is because
Your
Wout
guy.
took 12 days to shower after his crash.
Your Wout. Your Wout. Now, look, I don't want to make
Yes.
light of a situation where someone suffered some very, very serious injuries, and we will get into that horrific crash and the recoveries, the injuries and everything, but Wout, with with his long injury list, basically couldn't have a shower, but then he went on
No.
Strava and said, guess what, everyone? I'm clean again.
I'm clean again.
I'm not only handsome, but I also smell pleasantly once more.
And thankfully for your shower there, Joel, you smell wonderful too now. 5.5 kilometres he walked. Now, I have to say, for someone with his injury list, to have a 5.5k wander, that's good signs.
This is the guy that rides like across continents on a Sunday
Well,
afternoon.
he won't be doing that this year. He's out of the Giro, confirmed. He's not riding the Tour, although with everything going on at Lisa Bike, that he may be called in.
Spain?
Laporte's
Vuelta?
replacing him, right?
Maybe. Well, I mean, Laporte, yes, but he's also been on the injury list. So they're having some struggles over there with even filling the roster.
Olympics?
I hope so. I mean, looking at the announcement, I think that they are allowing him to change his goals for the season and really target the Olympics, which is a great course for him. So that's
Okay.
my hope.
Do you reckon Wout walked under a few ladders? Because compare his season to Van der Poel. Oh,
Yeah, he's had a tough
year.
season. But, in saying that, like we talk about the dominance of Van der Poel, but it'll be over soon. Like soon we'll move into Grand Tour territory and he just won't have the same presence. Well, look, he could.
Yep.
But we don't expect him to have nearly the same presence. And so it's just,
Well,
season.
someone who would have a gigantic presence in GT season is, of course, your beloved cousin, Jonas, but looking not to be the case. Let's just have a quick chat about Jumbo and what happens now with the main man on the sidelines.
Well, I think to directly quote Richard Plug, it's too early to make plans. They have no idea. And, I mean, they've had a double blow because Miran Zeman, who's the general manager over at Visma Lease Bike, he's announced that he's leaving. He's heading to AZ Alkmaar, which is a football club, soccer club. And Richard Plug has very openly said, we're devastated. Like, he has been a huge part of the success and the culture, and he will be very sorely missed. This comes at a time where they have their biggest names out and on long-term injury lists. So it's all nice in theory to say it should be about 8 weeks or 12 weeks, but it could be a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
It could be.
I'm interested. Okay, so we often on this show talk about the incredible resilience, the toughness, the endurance of cyclists. I legitimately believe it's one of the top tier, toughest sports in the world.
I'm glad you think that.
You know that, especially after going for a ride with you absolute maniacs. Now, I want to say, so Jonas, we know that he's in a bad way. We know that all of these big names are in terrible, terrible shape after that crash. But why do social commentators and social media have to then take them to task for being soft? Now, let's have a look at this.
Yeah.
So Jonas, surgery. He's only got a broken collarbone and ribs and a collapsed lung.
Well,
why isn't he moving around?
So I'm glad you brought this up because this was a real bugbear of mine. When they release injury lists, I think there's two things to assume. And the first is that they're not telling us everything. They're telling us enough and the fans enough that we have an understanding. But there is a lot of very personal medical information that is not being shared, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is things emerge over time. And so in the case of Jonas, immediately they said collarbone and ribs. And all of a sudden people were like, did you see how he was wheezing and looking like he was doing it so tough breathing? He needs to toughen up. Like, it was pretty horrendous. turns out that once they'd gotten him to hospital, he'd been properly assessed and was in the ICU, they realised that he had a pneumothorax, a collapsed lung. That's why he was really struggling to breathe. But the public, it's an absolute shocker.
It is.
Absolute shocker.
It's absolutely rife, this sort of thing, this criticism of people that are severely injured. Get
in the bin, I reckon, those people. Now, in good news, I spoke to Brie Vine, and Brie has said that Jay's doing really well, and obviously it's, a moving timeline of when he may be back in action, but their worst fears have been put to bed a bit because obviously some bad injuries with neck and back and some fractures, but that she's feeling, and she's quite heavily pregnant. She's past 20 weeks pregnant, and so very tough time for their family. But she said she's gotten to a point after a week where she can get a bit of sleep and feel that Jay will be okay. But she also described in her message the feeling for a partner, a family member, and we talked about this last week. Merksy thinks that, fair game in reporting it all, but watching the pictures and what went through her head is, will Jay even get up at all?
Wow. Well, I saw some of the images in the hospital bed, and he looked in awful shape.
And, so the good news is that he has a long laundry list of injuries, but that the family's doing well and Jay's doing well, and his pretty tough spirit is really shining through, and so we continue to send all the love in the world to the Vine family.
Yeah, of course we do. And look, good on you for reaching out to Brie, because going on this conversation about the dangers of the sport, the injuries, the impact of that, it goes a lot further than the athlete themselves. And Brie, as you say, heavily pregnant, these are lives that get they grind to a halt, don't they?
Well, and I actually really loved from the Visma Lisa bike team, Richard Plug said, far and above everything, they're humans.
Yeah.
And he actually said that. He said they're humans, and we have to remember that when we're reporting on all their injuries and we're talking about it and when are they coming back. The priority for the teams is not who's going to ride the Tour de France.
Yep.
It's these are humans. We care about them. Will they be okay? What does that look like? And I like that coming from a team manager. That's quite powerful.
I completely agree. Now, on that, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but as far as a little bit of potential solidarity with this line of thinking
I've missed some of your segues here. So
no, this is good. This is a nice, tidy segue into a guy who we usually criticising on this podcast, but had a bit to say around the impact of harsh words and criticism and all that sort of thing.
He does, but I'm still going to criticise him.
Okay, I'll say the name so we know who we're talking about. Merksy. No, I'm kidding. It's Patrick Lefevre, your favourite.
Yes. Well, look.
Our favourite, I should say.
He got wrapped over the knuckles by the Ethics Commission at the UCI for some statements that he made that were complained about denigrating women. And it's pretty on brand for him, I would say, to do that.
Well, absolutely. And that is the chief reason that he gets a fair bit of criticism on this show. And I think that criticism is not out of place.
And so they said if he apologises, it's a wrap over the knuckles. If he will not publicly apologise, then it's a massive fine and further sanctions.
Okay.
So naturally, he's apologised. This is not his words, I don't think. It's very politician-like. He says he accepts the decision of the Ethics Commission, and he says, I acknowledge that the sentences referred to can be perceived in a doubtful way, but it was never my intention to harm anyone, and therefore I apologise. But I think, to me, the whole, literally could have been written by a Prime Minister's speechwriter, this apology, is that there's this old saying, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. No, words do hurt.
Yeah.
Actually, words hurt a lot, and words set an example. And when you're an influential figure, your words have a lot more gravitas than throwaway comments.
Yep. Okay.
And look, he goes on to say that the way our teams work should offer proof that it was never my intention to offend or harm anyone. And that line confuses me, to be honest, because, in fact, a lot of what he said has come across as really quite offensive.
It actually seems like, I will say, it seems like he's gone out of his way to be pretty direct and pretty offensive and pretty, highly critical of his athletes and athletes in other teams, and especially female athletes. So,
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny he's done a lot for the sport. You can't deny that he, to a degree, has also supported the rise of the AG Insurance team,
Yep.
which is under his banner over there. But I do think that this, if nothing else, this keeps him in line. He's had an official warning now that he's had to apologise for. He will have to be careful with his words. If we want to give him the credit that some of it is language and translation and intent and tone, okay. But now he's on warning. So all the other times we would just talk about it and say, what have we got again this time?
Yep.
For the first time, the sport has stepped up and said enough. And I like that.
okay, yep, no, really, really good. So you got to write your own speeches too. I think if you know, if that's not actually his
Yeah.
words.
I don't think we want him to write the speeches. I think that's the problem, that he writes the speeches in the past.
But just like in the quest for just a tiny little bit of authenticity, you know.
We're just waving to the
That
fans
road to
here
redemption.
when I went quiet. It is.
Yeah,
it's
like,
a
share,
great,
subscribe.
It is a great. Are you throwing chamois butter at people? Oh my god!
It's yours.
It
That's
is.
a gift from the
it's
Wheelhouse
such a-
Cycling
it's
Podcast.
Such
and
a great
Bike Bug.
environment here. Oh my
Okay, no, look,
gosh.
really well said, Catherine. I agree. Now, would you say that as far as that apology hitting the mark goes, that he missed it by that much?
He did.
Yeah. And just there's a reason I'm doing this segue.
Yeah,
there genuinely is.
I'm just following.
You're going to
along
get to
here.
it in just a sec.
I'm following along. I got it.
I was a bit slow on the buttons there.
Thank you, Maxwell Smart.
99. All right,
As
now
long as the door doesn't close on your nose, then you're good.
yeah, love Don Adams. Shout out. Okay, anyway, why are we playing that music randomly? Because
Yeah.
the UCI has appointed Maxwell Smart, or maybe not exactly him, but a former criminal investigator, to lead a charge or a fight against mechanical doping.
Well, this is
Catherine.
one Mr. Nicholas Radensky, who used to be the head of the International Testing Agency.
Yes.
And they work against corruption, match fixing, and other ethical concerns. Merksy, they do Lotto. You've shot some Lotto Corp stories, haven't you, where the testing
Yes,
board
I
is
have.
involved?
You want me to say they tested the balls?
They weigh the
They
balls.
weigh the balls and they measure the balls to make sure they're all the correct size.
Yes.
It's a thing.
They need uniformity
Standards
in the balls.
and measurements.
Yes.
Hang on,
Yes.
the Lotto balls as well. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yes,
Is
the
that
And they
Lotto
measure,
balls as
you know,
well.
they go to a service station, make sure a litre is a litre. And,
Okay.
You know, so,
Stuff
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
It's important.
Integrity, okay.
So that when you get your Cocoa Pops, you get your full 750 grams.
it's
If
important.
you go for the big box.
For $12.
Oh, don't even get me started. The kids are not eating Cocoa Pops. Yes. Now, what shocked me a little bit about this? I mean, he's a high flyer, right? And what's his new job title? Head of Fight Against Technical Fraud.
Look, we can workshop that, I reckon.
We
in the
definitely
halls
can.
of the UCI.
I can honestly say I missed the mark on this one. Didn't
Okay.
have my finger on the pulse. I did not realise that we were still at a place talking about mechanical doping to the level where they have to bring in this kind of investigator.
How is it different to drug doping?
Oh,
Forgive me if that's a
no, that's
foolish question.
No, that's
but
a good question because I think it is vastly different to doping. And I'll tell you why, and I'm opening myself up here to a whole barrage of comments.
Oh,
but
come
be
at
kind,
us.
people.
Come at us.
Yeah, actually, don't worry. Come at us. I think for riders, you've heard a lot of people who've doped in the past talk about how to them they described it still as a level playing field. Everyone was taking it. It still is your body, your skills, your race nous getting you through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you put it like that and when you think about it in the context of why somebody may choose to dope, there has been an element of, but level playing field.
Yeah.
Mechanical doping,
What's that, a motor? You're sticking a motor in.
motor, it's essentially putting a motor somewhere in your bike.
I want to do that.
It's and look, love e-bikes. There's a place for them. However, I think that is just a pure malicious cheating. There is no way to explain it. There is no way to say I felt like it was a level playing field. There's just no way. And so to me, it just seems so far off the path.
I don't get it though. Like,
I don't
okay,
get-
let's look
I
at this
mean-
beautiful Colnago that we have here. Where? How?
Where?
Like, how do you do it?
I don't understand entirely the developments of it.
Yeah.
But I
okay.
know it used to be in the bottom bracket and essentially a little motorised spindle in there that helped the pedals go. So there's no batteries, there's nothing like that.
So it's not like scannable, but what are you doing?
So they
if you...
x-ray the bike. That's how they test for it. They x-ray the bike.
Okay.
And they used to also weigh it.
Yep.
And if it was really out of whack with what it should weigh,
Okay.
then that was another telltale sign. But I truly did not realise that there is enough concern about it that they're bringing in such a big hitter.
This is a vastly darker version of the Guess the Weight game that we're playing here.
Isn't it?
At the Brisbane Cycling Festival. It's a criminal version of that, basically.
but
it's, wow,
hold
this is
on,
a deep well.
But if Mr. What's his name? Is Mr. Radensky...
Nicholas Radensky, a.k.a. Maxwell Smart.
If he kits up like Maxwell Smart
Yeah.
and wanders around the racing, I'm all for that.
Okay.
Oh, I'm here for that. Can we get him on the Wheelhouse? Merksy, can you line that up?
Oh, dear, no. I don't have enough to do. I'll do that.
Excellent.
Good,
Thank
Merksy.
you. Thank
Okay,
you.
yep, good.
Yep.
Love your work, Maxie. While you're at Skin Latte.
Do you reckon, do you reckon he'll do sock height as well? That's important.
Oh, don't get us
Oh
on the
yeah.
sock.
Alright,
Oh,
moving on.
he will be walking around with a little. He'll have a tape measure.
Yeah.
And a ruler.
Yep.
And
Would you
one of those-
believe it was in the handlebars?
One of those luggage weights.
Yes.
You know, they don't work, by the way. I've
Look,
been stung for excess a number of times because of a faulty luggage weight.
Yeah, well, stop flying Jetstar, babe.
I just
Yeah.
don't. This is just one of those things. Like if you're not that I don't know, a drug smuggler, for example, and you go to the international
Where are
airport.
we going
I'm going
with
in an
this?
interesting direction here, but why are you even trying to do this? Why are you trying to get onto a plane with a suitcase full of drugs when you know that it's
Well-
so easily detected? I don't get it.
Have you heard my story about the drugs in the bike?
Drugs in the bike.
You haven't heard it? All right. So when I was...
Gather round,
no,
friends. Let us hear a tale.
It was about 2001 and we had these frames, BTs they were, this giant monocoque carbon frame, right? One piece, quite fancy design.
Okay.
And we went to a World Cup in Colombia and flying back. And by the way, the World Cup was legitimately run by one of the local drug cartels. Very good prize money, I might add. A feuding cartel burnt the velodrome down a few years later. Anyway, I digress. As we flew back from Colombia into the United States, Customs pulled up our bikes and wanted to, and I'd gotten then separated from the team because I was going to Europe and the rest were going back to Australia. They wanted to cut the bike in half because
Stuff it with cocaine.
because they were sure it was stuffed with cocaine.
Oh, okay.
And
all right.
My mother tells the story that I rang, panicked. What do I do? This is a very expensive bike. I have no idea what to do. Anyway,
Wow.
look, they went away. I got stuck there for a couple of hours. They figured it out and the bike was allowed to carry on.
They're
I
not
can
like-
confirm there was no drugs inside the bike.
Wow.
But hang on, they went straight to the cut. It's not like we're just going to have a look for any
No,
obvious
they
signs that this
literally
frame has
wanted to
been-
cut it in half.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So it has been done.
When are they making the movie on this one, Don
I know.
Bates? My goodness,
That'd be a good one.
what a story.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well,
we
all
also
right.
did get held up at gunpoint on the same trip, but that was an interesting trip.
I'm detecting a Wheelhouse special coming out here. This is incredible.
Yeah,
All
first time I saw a machine gun. Anyway,
Look,
moving on.
I want to follow this because I just find it boggling in so many ways. Mechanical doping. All right.
Not on my radar. I'll do some more research.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right. It is the Brisbane Cycling Festival. The Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast is here. Thanks to Bike Bug. Now, let's just have a look at our desk here. So we've gone over these beautiful sunnies up for grabs. This beautiful bike up for grabs, but in a different way, as in you just grab it and tell us how heavy it is to win the sunnies. We've got QR codes here as well for that $15 off if you spend $50. I think that's a pretty decent deal as well.
I think it's a very good deal. We've also got the DMT shoes and the Met helmet. I was just about to say the name of the glasses you can win, and I realised I cannot pronounce it. I have no idea. Elliot from Bike Bug, I need you to come on into set here. I need you to help us.
Welcome to the program.
Scion? How do we say this?
Shikon.
We just wanted to be sure of that, so we gave him two mics to say that
Sorry,
into.
hold on. It's spelt Scicon, and it's Shikon.
Shikon.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Elliot.
Hey, Elliot, thanks for coming on.
Elliot the enforcer. Try and steal the Colnago. He will chase you. He will take chase. So, Chic on.
Okay,
There you
awesome. Amazing.
Get
Amazing,
yourself some
Sonny.
Chic-ons.
They're up for grabs.
Get your chic on.
There's
get
butt
your
cream,
chic on.
his and hers, coconut flavour as well.
Yes.
We got Pog here as well. As he's flown all the way over for it. He's got a massively busy schedule, so we're very, very grateful.
Yeah,
for
not
that.
too chatty though.
Look, the shy retiring type. All right, well, you wait till Sunday when the bike race is over. He'll be full of chats.
We do, and we've got the ladies dropping in too because we've got the chicks who ride bikes and the sisters of the saddle set up on the edge of our little tent here too. So that'll be, a little balance.
Oh, absolutely.
Balance it out.
It's fantastic, and perpetual shout out to
Yes.
Bronwyn, Geordie, all of the guys
To
across
all of
those
them.
two organisations because they are A+. Now, Catherine, we've done enough serious stuff today. Let's do something a little bit fun. I
Very
love
serious.
I love words, and when words are weird and weird words are used to describe things that they don't apply to. So you've done a little bit of research here.
I'm shielding my notes so
very-
that you can't see them.
Really important research.
Yes.
What you know what? Just you take this one. What's this all about?
So I have a Google alert on for cycling.
Yes.
Sometimes it's great. Yeah, sometimes it's less great. This was a winner.
Great.
This was an article on a website called Mental Floss. Don't know if it's a legitimate site or not, but I might take a look later. And they were very excited over at Mental Floss, Joel, because with the Olympics coming up, they said that the best slang gets used in the Olympics to describe different sports and what goes on in different sports.
Okay.
And I thought I'd have a little look. And what number 2 on the list was a cycling term. And I thought, I wonder how prolifically I use this. Are you trying to Google this?
Yeah, I'm looking for mental floss. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
The word they said Olympic cycling commentators use a lot that's very sport specific, bacon.
When talking about
When
cycling.
talking about cycling, bacon.
Bacon,
Nah.
as in
Nah.
Do you know what that is, Merksy?
Never heard of it.
No? I wrote it down. That's why I'm shielding my notes. Joel, have a guess.
is it like something to do with they're tired, they're cooked, they've done their bacon. I don't know.
They've
like,
done their bacon.
they're bacon out there today. Hey, hang on, you mean bacon as in like pig bacon? You're not talking about like baking.
No,
Kevin
like
bread.
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin.
like,
Oh, so
like
they talking about
Babe.
Kevin Bacon.
Like Babe.
Is it when their feet come out of the cleats?
No, it
Foot
is.
loose?
Apparently, to describe scrapes or road rash.
Oh,
Like,
even I
they've
think
got
that's
bacon
gross.
on them. It's gross. But
Ugh.
not only is it gross, I've never heard it.
You would have had some bacon in your day though, and various.
It's,
you know.
it's one of my jobs is to be an Olympic cycling commentator.
Did you find some weird stuff
Oh,
on that internet, Catherine?
I do. Well, here's another one. For diving, bingo.
Okay, is that just perfect dive? Good dive? Bingo. Nailed it.
No, it is when all of the judges provide the same score.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Then-
okay. Yeah.
Then you have a bingo.
That's more applicable than bacon. But yeah.
Okay, I've got one more because I think Merksy's going to cut me off otherwise. For tennis, bagel.
Tennis. Bagel.
Oh, that's to love. That's you go down a bagel. 6 love.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
I thought
Got it.
that's a Matt Keenan. You know, he's a big tennis fan.
Yeah, bagel. Yeah,
He'll
yeah.
be using that.
That's a bagel, a duck egg, whatever
There
you
you
want to call
go.
it. Okay.
So
yeah.
bingo, bagel, bacon.
You know what? I love my bikes. I'm right on board with bagel and bingo.
There's no more, is it? Yeah.
There was 20 on the
Ah,
list.
that's
I only
good
wrote
going.
down 3. You don't want me to keep going.
Good news, everyone. We're going to extend our record by 4 hours today. All right, Kate. What's number 4? Look, okay, really, really interesting stuff. This is what you come to the Wheelhouse to find out.
Yes.
So I think
And how to say chicon.
Chicon?
Chicon.
Chicon.
I have quite embarrassingly, I have a chicon bike bag. I
Oh,
have
good.
been calling it a skycon.
Oh. Has
I-
anyone ever sniggered?
No.
Okay.
Which means I think that there is a lot of people who call it skycon. I've never felt less cool in my life than right in this moment.
So many listeners are like, what? How good.
I
Yeah,
know
we
this
know
is our
now.
moment.
Yeah, yeah.
This is our viral moment.
I love that. We now know how to.
Well, come down
Now
to the
know
festival,
how to
weigh
say
the
chicon.
bike, and see if you can win your themselves a pair of chickons.
And say Chicon 10 times fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, heavens.
Thank goodness Elliot is here, because otherwise we would have gone the rest of this record saying those amazing Sky Cotton glasses
know.
that are up for grabs.
That would have been a very heavy post-edit for Merksy.
Would have needed a more sincere apology than Patrick Lefevre is able to give. Anyway,
We
this
can
has
borrow
been fun.
his speechwriter. It
Yeah.
has been fun.
Can we? This has been fun here at the Brisbane Cycling Festival. Kate, big weekend ahead. The expo is on all weekend. The media wall here, it's all going to be set up. It's all going to be happening. Well worth a visit if you're
Come
in
and see us.
Brisbane town.
Yes.
Yep, Joel's going to do a live butt cream application tomorrow.
Yeah.
I am,
And,
yes.
what about you?
Tomorrow. I
How
thought
to
you meant...
apply it.
Okay.
Merksy, what's your party trick for the weekend?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'll just film it.
Yeah, good chat. All right. Well, I'm going to try and help people win some chickons.
You're going to win some Chicons. You get a good opportunity to do that. Can we have a guess? Is it
6.93, I reckon.
6.93
grams?
All right. Yeah, actually, we're recording this. What's
I
your...
haven't grabbed it. I'm too scared to touch it. I guess by looking, 7.
Yeah, I'm going to go...
It's got no pedals.
No, but it's disc brake. So I'm going to go 7.25.
Really?
No, wait. It's to the third decimal, 7.257. And I'm writing it down.
I don't know if Elliot's sitting there going,
He
these
knows.
guys are good. Or if he's
Elliot,
like,
the
"Oh my
enforcer,
God."
knows,
You
but
won't
we
be
do
winning
not.
the Chicon.
Chickon.
No Chicons for
No.
us?
And
No, okay.
Joel, Elliot
Chickon.
won't tell us how much it weighs because he thinks we don't have good enough poker faces.
He's bloody right.
He's bloody right.
Scan that QR code, by the way,
yeah.
and you enter that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Well,
Get
look,
on it.
I can't wait to find out because I just, my mind is still blown by the
It
weight
is.
of these bikes.
Yes.
And
It weighs about as much as a wheel of your old bike.
it does. Yeah, I remember I was like, hey, check out how light this bike is. And you go, ooh, that's a piece of Chicon. Don't ever bring that near me
Get your
again.
chickon.
Yeah.
My favourite
Anyway,
word.
Chicon down to the Brisbane Cycling Festival over the weekend. It's going to be amazing. Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast will be here and we want to meet you. So like, share, subscribe, tell everyone you know. Come and scan a code, use a bit of cream, wherever you like.
I might try this coconut. Yum, yum, yum.
Off camera? Oh, really? Okay,
I
anyway,
suppose.
it's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Merksy. See you next time. It's a very tappable table.
It is.
Yeah.
You can take it home if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think that person stole the coconut cream that I threw. We need that back. We need the cream back.